Well, hello. What is up, everybody? Welcome to this impromptu late night, 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Pacific, I believe, Mavcast, where we get to talk about Game Pass going up. I know a lot of people are making a huge thing about this, and it honestly kind of surprising to me, but not in general, but the timing of it is a little surprising. But I'm not like angry or anything like that either. So I kind of want to just kind of look at what they're doing and like why Xbox is doing this, and kind of look and see how we all feel about this. I'm curious to get the chat's reaction about Game Pass's prices going up, and what y'all's thoughts are overall. I don't feel like anybody's surprised in the long run that this was going to happen. We've been speculating on it for quite a while, but overall, I think the timing of it is kind of more or less what is a surprising thing, for at least for me personally. And now we've had debates and speculation on this before about why it made sense to do it now, and I was on the wrong side of that. So shout out to Pong, who thought they would do it now, and he was right. Uh, don't second guess Pong's soul when you're having a speculation debate at all. But shout out to the chat who is joining us right now. Shout out to legendary Yobi. Was first in the chat. Then we got OCD Gamer. We got 3-Bit hanging out there. We got Steel Rain. And we got Alvin. What is going on, guys? I hope you all are having a fantastic night. Yeah, this was kind of... I've been trying to, like, understand it for what the tiers and what the differences are. So, Clobrel brought up an interesting thing here with like the breakdown on what they're doing, and I think it makes sense. I think there's a lot of overreaction from some in the industry over this. It's basically thinking about they're done with it and stuff like that. I don't think that's the case whatsoever. I think maybe less aggressive with customer acquisition would be the right thing, but the kind of settling into what Game Pass is more so what I feel like this is all about. Again, we've had the commitments from them time and time again that all the day and date games are going to be in Game Pass. Well, the ultimate tier, apparently, because they just took the day and date away, or taking day and date away from regular Game Pass. So that wording, they're going to have to kind of make sure they always say ultimate. But as far as like the industry goes, and a lot of games media and journalists saying like they're just done with Game Pass, that's not necessarily true. But I would say that they are not as much going to be as aggressive in the pricing to get over value to drive customers in, because I think they're feeling that they've kind of met that, and they're going, and the new customers they get because of Call of Duty and stuff like that isn't going to be because of the crazy low price or anything. It's going to be because Call of Duty's there. So I think overall the money guys have won out on this as well, and like they have with some other things recently. And but the timing is where the interesting thing is for me, and that's what I kind of want to get into. Ruben Francis says, "What's up, Mav? My OKC Thunder and your Mavs looking pretty good." Yeah, we got Clay Thompson here, so we'll see how that goes. I know he's older now, but still shoot. Brandon Martin hit us with a $2 super chat. Says Jeff Grubb said the Game Pass strategy is over. Now, I'm curious what he exactly means by that, by strategy, by having great games and Game Pass day and date to have an awesome value to drive customers into your subscription service. That strategy is not over. I would say the over aggressiveness pricing wise is a little bit over, because they made this move now, right? They could have waited until after Call of Duty hit in there. I that was my thinking beforehand. Was I thought that this was going to go up, this was going to happen, and I was in line kind of with this price point, like the $20 for Ultimate. I felt like it was going to be around that, maybe 21 or something, but $20 is, for me, is a fair price for everything you're getting for Game Pass Ultimate. Like, there's anybody saying, "Oh, that's outrageous. It was way too expensive and stuff," for everything you're getting in Game Pass Ultimate. I mean, it's really not. But I did think they were going to wait until after they had gotten a lot of these ABK games into Game Pass. I thought they were going to wait until after Call of Duty hit this year, let a big wave potentially happen of consumer excitement and all these other kind of things. Like, oh wow, they just had the Amazon Fire Stick happen, where they're getting their app on there, and so you're gonna have even more access for other gamers and stuff. I thought they were going to kind of hit pause on any of the price increases for Game Pass until after they were able to settle in on kind of this wave of games and everything that they have coming this second half. The fact that they did it now, before we're about to be inundated with crazy games, like just hitting left and right and left and right and left and right, it tells me that they are just say, okay, this is the price, we're going to go and do it now, instead of put all the content in and do it later. Which for me, I wouldn't do it that way. I think maybe their money guys went out on this argument saying that, well, we're going to get these customers diving in anyway because of all the awesome content and Call of Duty and everything hitting in there. We're reaching more access points as well. So let's just go ahead and raise the price to where we want to be anyway. I like more the aggressive approach and waiting on that. But I was wrong. They're doing it now. So it's going to be, I have the tiers up. Clobrel was cool and did this graphic here. Shout out to Clobrel, who's always coming through with awesome things on Twitter for us to look at. And let me bring that up real quick. Oop, wrong one. Here we go. All right, so we got Game Pass Core, which is basically Xbox Live Gold, is $9.99 a month, right? And instead of getting gold games, you're getting a kind of watered down small collection of some Game Pass games, right? It's like 25 plus games is what they're saying on console. They have some good selection there, but it's pretty much just giving you online access, and instead of Xbox Live Gold, games with gold, it's giving you that collection of games to play. So that's your cheapest option for $9.99 a month. I still think online, it's so ridiculous that we're paying for online access and gaming. It's so just old, like, I don't know, that needs to phase out eventually. Free to play games, it's already kind of phased out on Xbox. Like, I remember that was a big deal at first, and they made that a thing. But yeah, for Game Pass Core, I kind of wish that it didn't even exist, and that you just got online access, and then the only other tiers were Game Pass Standard and Game Pass Ultimate. However, Core exists, so if you're a Core member to pay for online access, yeah, go for it. And I think it's going to be interesting because maybe there will be more people that decide just to go that route for their online gaming. The people casual gamers that are just buying like Madden or Call of Duty. Oh, if they're not deciding to subscribe to Game Pass for Call of Duty, that is, or, FIFA and all those kind of things. They just only play a couple games, and maybe they just go ahead and stick with Game Pass Core. Or $74.99 a year. So they are giving you a 12-month discount. And I don't know if the cards are still going to be available for cheaper or what, but that's been a thing. Then we have Game Pass Standard. Now, this is the new tier. So this gets rid of the original Game Pass tier. And this one's interesting. But now, here's what I do like. Okay? Because beforehand, when they did the last revision, this didn't come with online access, so it was pretty much pointless unless you also subscribe to Game Pass Core. And So overall, I feel like the tiers, the way they're structured, make more sense. However, I still wish Game Pass Core didn't exist and it was just Game Pass Standard and Game Pass Ultimate. But we have Game Pass Standard now, which is also online access now. So you don't have to have Core and Standard, which you did before, and the regular Game Pass consoles, which was called before. Now you just have Game Pass Standard. However, they are getting rid of day and date games, at least from first party. Now maybe all third party. I want more clarification on a lot of this because it says day one game editions by Xbox Game Studios, Bethesda, Activision Blizzard, ID at Xbox, and selected third party are not going to be day one on Game Pass Standard. Now that was a huge selling point and a huge thing, a differentiator for Game Pass in general, and always has been. It's been the biggest thing to say, hey, well, PlayStation Plus doesn't have new games day and date. You know, they don't have new games day and date. You know, this was the big thing. EA Play Plus or whatever the top tier there does have games day and date. Also, so does Ubisoft Plus. They have games day and date for all of their games on their top tiers. So pricing wise, the tiers here are kind of similar in a way to those other services because they have now, so they have like the back catalog for the cheaper price, and then they have the day and date for the more expensive price, right? So it seems like they're kind of mirroring what Ubisoft and what EA are kind of doing with this pricing structure. This is what I'm talking about with kind of settling into what they think Game Pass is now. So removing day and date access to those for the middle tier for Game Pass Standard, and that's going to give you your huge collection of older games, and then you're going to have to wait. How long you're going to have to wait for those day one games, I don't know. But that's the biggest thing for me here. That out of all of the changes, that's the biggest negative for me is that Game Pass Standard, they removed the biggest selling point for the middle tier standard Game Pass version, right? And that's a move I don't like. Like I don't like that. I don't celebrate that. I think it's dumb. I think that regular Game Pass should have day and date games. I get why they're doing it, business wise. I think it's crappy to take away something from users that have been used to paying a certain price for something for so long, and when things are about to get good and you're about to finally be delivering on a lot of games that you've been promising for a long time, now you're saying, no, you can't have them day and date, right? So that's the kind of shitty part. Now they are obviously considering Call of Duty and all these new publisher games that they've been acquiring, the publishers like ZeniMax, Bethesda, and all that stuff in there, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. That's the way the tier's structured. Business-wise, I think the tiers make more sense like this. Consumer-wise, I'm saying that sucks. Game Pass Ultimate, $20 now. They went up from, I think it was $17.99 or it was $16.99 was the most recent price. It was $16.99 and it was going up to $19.99 per month. So that's a $3 price increase. No changes really with Game Pass Ultimate. You're just getting a slight price increase there, and honestly, for everything that it's going to be delivering and adding Activision Blizzard catalog to it and all that other kind of stuff, hey, I'm okay with that. I have no issues with paying $20 per month for everything that they have, right? PC Game Pass, I don't know if this, I think this was $9.99 per month before. I'm pretty sure they went up on this too. It's $11.99 now. I could be wrong on that. If I am wrong, let me know. But yeah, PC Game Pass, $11.99 per month, and they have a huge, awesome selection there. Obviously, online's not a part of it because online's always been free on PC. But overall, these are the changes here. Shout out again to Clobrel for having that graphic, and yeah, I'm kind of curious. Like overall, are you guys like upset by this? Are you just cool with it. Whatever. I think the shittiest thing is removing the day and date games, from the regular tier, because that's been a standard, that's been an expectation ever since a Game Pass came out. And it's like, hey, now we got all these games that are about to start hitting. We got Indiana Jones, we got Call of Duty, we got Avowed, we got Flight Sim, we got Towerborn, we got Ara. Well, Ara is going to be on PC only, so that'll be day and date. I think it's day and date. Yeah, it should be day and date because that's the only tier for PC, right? But everything else on here, I don't really have an issue with. That's the only thing that's kind of like, ugh, I don't like that. $3 increase. Ultimate, not gonna scream and yell about that. I think most of us saw this coming. This is the second price increase on Ultimate in the last 2 years, I believe. And with all the acquisitions and everything that they've been adding to it, the cost obviously probably going up, the improvements they've made to cloud gaming, all these other kind of things, the multiple access points they're giving you, I think it's well worth it. What I do have questions on, and what I want to know is, where the fuck is the family plan? They had it in insider testing in multiple countries for a while. This was a thing that people were enjoying and saying, yeah, this is going to be great, and all this stuff is something that they've said they wanted to work on and implement for a long time. This is something that other subscription services and other medias and mediums have had for a while now, with multiple account options and things like that, especially for big time TV streaming services and stuff. But for me, I want the family plan, because if you're going up $3 per Game Pass Ultimate subscription, if you have a family that's all gamers and you're all gaming on multiple places, especially with how varied their access points are getting, where you can just get $50 streaming sticks, or if you have a Samsung TV, you're talking about being able to access the ecosystem from all these different places, right? So the old school, just, hey, home Xbox, thinking of the family having one or two Xboxes and making one of them your home Xbox and the other one not. I have a family of just 3, and that already doesn't work for us because we all game in different places, right? So either living room, bedrooms, office, we have a game room, there's just different places that we all play. And that's kind of the idea that they're building this ecosystem around, is that, hey, you're going to be able to access your library from anywhere, right? So to have that and not have a family plan to account for people that multiple gamer families, that's where they need to figure that out, and it needs to be an option, just to kind of hey, because you have multiple gamers in your family, whatever, you should get a little bit of a break there, but it is what it is, right? You don't have Ultimate? I thought you had Ultimate. I know for a while we were paying for 3 accounts. I think maybe right now we're only paying for 2, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it's ultimately, I think it's, some people are a little bit overreacting to it. I saw Ryan McCaffrey, Kate was actually sharing this with me about him, saying that this is another huge step on a rake and they just can't help themselves and all this kind of stuff. Well, at the end of the day, these companies are still going to operate in a way that they think is going to be the most functional for their subscription services and their models. I think timing wise, I could have waited. But if this was the direction they're going, it's not really a rake necessarily. They could have just decided, hey, we're just going to keep it status quo. I think everybody would have been happy. But it's not the same thing as hey, we made a huge fucking mistake here, guys. I think, again, the biggest thing for me is that middle tier, right? Taking away the biggest selling point from that tier, that's kind of an L. And it's only because that was the coolest thing about Game Pass, is the day and date. And if you're saying you're kind of downgrading it to match your competition, And like, this is why we should put pressure on Sony and other companies to make their shit better. Because them resting on their ass, not even putting games day and date even on their premium tier, makes Xbox feel like, hey, we don't have to give our games day and date on our standard tier, right? Nobody else is doing it, so why do we like? What if PlayStation was to step up and actually try and do this, and it would put pressure on PlayStation? I mean, put pressure on Xbox to like say, oh, well, we have to make sure we stick with the competition. You know, PlayStation's sitting on their ass because they're been number one for so long, and it's just like, okay, we're just gonna give people a shitty subscription service, and we're not gonna let that put too much pressure on Microsoft in that regard. I still think Game Pass is gonna keep growing. I don't think that this is a move that some of the media is making, that they're saying that this is the end of their commitment to Game Pass. This is the end of their reinforcement of subscription gaming. This is the end of their really pushing hard for. I feel like they still want Game Pass to be successful. It's more so just like they're accepting kind of what Game Pass is and going to be, and are going to grow it from there instead of having these crazy aspirations that they had before, right? So now they have this, and they're saying, okay, we got all these things here, we're going to grow it from here, and we're settling into this system and this model. I just wish it was a little bit more aggressive in certain areas. However, I, as a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, I'm affected by $3 per month on my account. And I am curious how many of the Game Pass subscribers are Game Pass Ultimate subscribers versus, like, did anybody subscribe to Game Pass Console? Like, did anybody subscribe to Game Pass Console? I don't know anybody that subscribed to Game Pass Console version. I mean, back in the day before there was Ultimate, but once they made it to where with Ultimate you got Gold and Game Pass and then EA Play, I feel like most people just went with Ultimate. And then that went up from $14.99 to $16.99. Now it's going up to $19.99, right? So ultimately, ever since the Ultimates come out, this is like a $5 price increase to that. I don't know, as a gamer, why you would subscribe to anything other than Ultimate unless you aren't interested in the day and date games. And I guess for that, now they have an option for those people for $14.99. But fuck, man, you get Call of Duty, you're gonna get you're gonna get all Indiana Jones, Avowed. Next year you'll get Fable, South of Midnight, Flight Sim this year. Like, there's so much stuff coming. You talk about the third party games like Stalker 2, this year as well. Like, to have that day and date thing is where it saves me as a consumer money. Like, I look at it and be like, okay, these games, I would buy most of those, right? As a consumer, I would be buying Stalker 2. I would be buying Flight Sim. I would be buying Avowed. I would be buying Call of Duty. I would be buying Age of Mythology Retold. I would be buying all these games, right? Indiana Jones. So 70, or 50, maybe a couple of them are $50 or whatever. You add all that up, right? Fuck. You talk about $20 per month versus $14.99, where I don't know when I'm going to get those games. Like, I'm paying for Ultimate personally, right? Now, if you're just the guy that plays Madden and in those games, then just get Game Pass Core. Because if you don't care about the catalog of games anyway, then what? Like, you just get Game Pass Core. So I don't like the standard. I still don't like the standard Game Pass version. I feel like I feel like core should be that. It shouldn't be like this middle. It shouldn't be like this middle thing. I think like the bottom two tiers should just be like one thing, and it should just be two tiers, right? Um, just or make online free. Just get rid of Game Pass Core, and then have a cheaper version of Game Pass, and then have the Ultimate version. So for me, that would make the most sense. But it kind of is what it is with how they're doing it. I know that there's a lot of considerations that I'm probably not even thinking of. I'm not angry over this. If I was a Game Pass console subscriber, then I would be looking at it like, oh, I'm getting online, so I'm actually kind of saving money because I don't have to get Game Pass Core separately, but I'm losing day and date. So if I'm losing day and date, I'm thinking I need to switch to Ultimate anyway. So for me, I don't understand exactly like who these other tiers are for. That's why you have so many people that just subscribe to Ultimate, though, I guess, right? I know that a lot of people are just they get an Xbox, they don't necessarily care about subscribing to something, they just want to play a specific game, and I guess that's where it falls in. Yeah, I hate the antiquated paying for online, but it is what it is. Sup Brisket for the biscuit? How's it going? Sup Soy 2 Mangs, Sean Herring, Massier says core Game Pass console or PC Ultimate would be all features. Yeah. Sean T says I will always push back on greed and price gouging. Not sure why telling people to roll over and take it helps. Who's telling people to roll over and take it? Yeah, that's weird. Stephen Avery says, Microsoft already brainstormed this. They have their reasons. Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a million considerations that they're probably thinking of that I'm not thinking of. Right? So for all of those things, yeah, I'm sure there's reasons why they're doing some of this stuff. And I just don't know why the tiers are structured the way they are for being attractive options. Like, they're not, for me, the only attractive option is Game Pass Ultimate. I don't if you compare the difference between the value of getting day and date games versus standard, it's such a huge value difference, especially with everything coming. So for me, the standard option is like, I don't know who it's for, really. And then for Game Pass Core, the only reason it exists is because it's forcing you to pay for online. So I don't know. I wish standard and core were one thing, and then there was just ultimate. Besides that, Risket says you'd be looking at it like you're saving money. From what perspective? Like, from a consumer, I am saving money if I'm a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber. Just in general. Like, I'm not saying comparatively to the other price that they just went up from. Like, yeah, it sucks to pay $3 more per month for Ultimate. But I'm saying in general, as a consumer, I'm saving money personally by being a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber. And that's the easy thing to explain, because all the day and date games that I would be buying, I'm not buying. I'm just subscribing to the service, and I get to keep them, and they keep adding up and adding on and adding on and adding on. And if I decide I want to buy anything later, I can, and I still get a discount for doing that. Yeah, so for me, like, it's a no-brainer to be a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, even with the price increase. But like, I don't know what your question is about, like, saving money comparative to before the price increase. No, that's $3 more per month. If you're talking about saving money as being a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber versus not being, it depends on what you play and the games that you're planning on buying. For me personally, yeah, it's saving me a shit ton of money. And Game Pass has always saved me a shit ton of money. That's why I've been a proud Game Pass subscriber ever since the service came out. Um, all the games that I get to play for pretty much essentially for just my subscription has been way overvalued comparatively to the price that I've been paying. Like, it saved me hundreds of dollars per year, at least hundreds. And that's only that's just considering like the first party games plus also some of the third party games that have dropped in there that I'd be planning on buying, and then the other games that I've decided I'm cool with waiting on now. Like the fact that they added EA Play even to it, like I would usually feel more compelled to buy a lot of the EA games, and right now I'm not as much because I can wait on them. Risket says, I said with core, you'd think the multiplayer tier is saving money if you're an ultimate, but dude, we shouldn't be paying for. Yeah, I said we shouldn't be paying for multiplayer. I said it's outdated. It's an outdated thought. With core, I don't know if you misunderstood what I said, but I don't know what you're saying. You said with core, you'd think the multiplayer tier is saving money if you're an ultimate. But dude, we shouldn't be paying for multiplayer. Oh, I think you're saying like, yeah, I don't get what you're saying, bro. Sorry. Yeah, like Game Pass Core. What I'm saying is Game Pass Core and Standard should be like one thing. Like it, and I don't, and I think they should just have like free multiplayer for everybody. I don't know if you missed what I said earlier, but I think they should just have free multiplayer for everybody. And then the middle option should just be like one option. Like there shouldn't be like three options. It should just be free multiplayer, no Game Pass. You just buy your games, whatever. Hey, get a console. You can make a free account. You don't get any features. You just play games online if you buy them. And then they should have a second tier that's not a free account. That's like Game Pass Core, Standard, or whatever you want to call it. That's like maybe not the day and date or whatever. And then they should have Ultimate. The fact that Core even exists is what I'm saying is stupid. Like beforehand, what they were doing, I think this is what I was saying, because the previous model they had with Game Pass Console, if you were a Game Pass Console subscriber, you don't get online, so you had to get Game Pass Core. So Game Pass Core plus Game Pass Console cost more than Game Pass Standard. I know it's confusing, but Game Pass Console plus Game Pass Core, you would have to have both to get online, right? Like if you wanted to be a Game Pass subscriber plus play online, you had to have Game Pass Core plus Game Pass Console. So that was more expensive than Game Pass Standard is, that includes online. The difference is now you don't get the day and date games, so it's a shittier service. So they're like, for the middle tier, they're giving you the online. And then I'm just saying that's like, it's less expensive if you just wanted a Game Pass selection and online gaming than having to subscribe to those two services. But I still think that's antiquated and outdated, and just multiplayer should be free. And also for the sake of them making money, like, could you imagine like more gamers actually just playing online for free? It would actually be kind of open some floodgates a little bit to a lot of these other games that they can make money on. And then you have your Game Pass options. That's what I think they should have done, is like free option with online, middle option with a selection of games, third option with everything, right? That makes the most sense to me. But I do think that this model makes more sense than what they just had. it makes more sense. It's easier to understand than having that Game Pass console thing with no online. But it also sucks more because you're taking away the coolest feature of being day and date. So there's no win, like ultimately, for those tiers, right? For the middle tier, it is still the shittiest option. For me, it's like go ultimate or nothing. But you have to at least get core to play online. So that I don't know. It sucks, but it is what it is. So Game Pass Ultimate is $19.99, and it's going up from $16.99. All in all, like that's around what I expected. I thought it was going to be later. I thought it would happen probably like February of next year, something like that. I thought they would get all these games out, that this huge deluge of awesome fucking games coming out for the second half, and then raise the price. But they decided to go ahead and do it. So I didn't expect the standard version changing to remove the day and date stuff. Calorie says, dang, bro, I had a feeling you would do a solo stream tonight, so I double checked. I had notifications turned on for your channel earlier today, but didn't get a notification. Yeah, man, like sometimes YouTube just fucks us, right? YouTube just fucks us with the notifications. But I hope you're all having a good one. For me, I'm like, this affects me by I can easily quantify as a consumer how this affects me. It's $3 per month. Do I feel like I'm getting more than that in value? Yes. So I'm not gonna like raise a huge shitstorm over this or whatever. But I do think as consumers we should always be asking for the best value. Right? Like we should be asking for the best value possible. So when there's price increases, we shouldn't just be like, yeah, go Microsoft. It's like, it kind of sucks, right? But it is what it is. At the same time, I do think that Game Pass has been like over like valued for a long time, and we were kind of like it was too good to be true for a long time, and I was loving that. That's one of the reasons we're praising it so much, because like people just didn't understand the value. But like right now, it's like, okay, they're settling into a tier that makes a lot more sense. It's still, for Ultimate, it's still by far the best value in subscription gaming by a mile. But it's like, it would be nice if they had made kind of a win move to coincide with this. Like, okay, yeah, here's the price increase for Ultimate members, and here's this, but oh, hey, we're also gonna stop charging you for online for like standard members, standard users or whatever. So or make it like ridiculously cheap, right? Like if they can make like Game Pass Core like $4 or $3 instead of $9.99 per month or something like that, like that could have been even like a happy medium. Like, okay, you still like are charging a little bit for online uses, but like $10 a month for online just kind of sucks ass still. But yeah, there's no getting them to change that right now, I guess. I thought eventually they would phase it out. I think the family plan also is the one that it's like, where is it, guys? I've talked about this numerous times before. It makes a lot of sense to have something like that going in the route that they've been going with access points, but we're still not getting that either. Sean, they're delivering on all the promises with all this games coming out the second half. The issue I have is they're going up on the price before that happens, right? Like just in this next 6 months, we have Ara, we have Towerborn, we have Flight Sim, we have Avowed, we have Stalker 2, we have Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess, we have did I say Avowed? I think I did. We have Indiana Jones, we have Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I don't know if I said Flight Sim already. Like there's like 9 maybe like first party and third party day and date bigger games coming to Game Pass in this second half, right, of this year. They are delivering on the promises that they've made. And we also just got Hellblade 2. Don't forget that. The issue is like, hey, we're finally delivering on that now, but we're going up on the price to coincide with it, right? So, it is what it is. There, this is exactly the reason though why I thought they would wait and raise the price like February, so that way people can't say, well, they haven't been delivering on our promises, and people would have been like so much like, holy shit, I can't believe all these fucking games that we just got. Holy shit, we just like got so many crazy games. Call of Duty, we just got Flight Sim, we just got Avowed, we just got Indiana Jones. Oh, and then we got Fable coming, we got South and Midnight coming around the corner. All that stuff. That's like, people would have been on such a high at that moment. All the ABK games from back catalog start dropping left and right, and all this kind of stuff. Like, people have been at such a high from all of it. People would have been like, okay, well, $3 more makes more sense, as opposed to now people making the argument like you are that, oh, they haven't been delivering, so they shouldn't be going up on price. Well, like, these games are coming. That's why I thought they should have waited as opposed to doing it now. However, those games are still going to hit, and people are still going to be excited for them, and they're still going to play them. So ultimately, you have to ask yourself, is it worth $20 a month for me to play all those games day and date and not have to buy each one separately? And for me, as a consumer, I'm saying, duh, yeah, it makes a lot of sense because I am planning on playing all those games. So ultimately, I think they should have waited, but it is what it is. They already failed to deliver over and over. Let's not put the cart before the horse. Yeah. I don't agree with that. Honestly, I don't agree with like failing to deliver. This year has been awesome. 2022 was pretty weak. 2023 they had a pretty good year. Yeah, I don't really know where failed to deliver on stuff. You want to talk about failed to deliver? How about PlayStation's first party pipeline, man? How about their subscription? If we want to really like complain about subscription games, subscription models and gaming, if we really want to focus on like issues with subscription models and gaming, 99% of the conversation should be about PlayStation Plus. Let's just be real. Like, because if they were more competitive and they actually cared about giving a good service, then maybe Microsoft wouldn't be resting on their ass going with price increase right now also. Right? Like, the competition breeds value. And Microsoft's been giving us such crazy good value for a long time to be competitive and to really push forward this model. PlayStation dipped their toes in, never even committing to doing day and date games. They got games that have been out for 2 years almost that even aren't in their service yet. And here we are again, the conversation is mostly on Xbox, right? Nobody even gives a shit about PlayStation Plus and the shitty offering that they give to the consumers. Because people make excuses that, oh, they can't do it. They can't afford to. We shouldn't even expect that. We shouldn't ever expect PlayStation to be able to compete with what Microsoft's willing to give us. Yet we're sitting here saying Microsoft hasn't been delivering? What? That's such a contradictory thought. Well, it's impossible for Sony. They can't afford to do it. How could they ever? They're number one in, but and the other side of the mouth, they're number one in gaming. Just Sony can't afford to do it. Oh, but Sony's number one. They sell the most consoles, but Sony can't afford to have a good subscription service. Oh, but Sony, they have games. Xbox has no games, but Sony can't afford to put their games into their subscription service. Well, why the fuck not? Tell me somebody. Why can't Sony actually afford to put their games into a subscription service? I'll tell you why, because they don't want to, because they know that nobody gives a shit, because they're going to buy their games for $70 anyway, and then later they'll be able to resell them and put them on PC for the same damn price 2 or 3 years later. And we're sitting here talking about like Xbox and like, you know what I mean, like not delivering. Fuck. The amount of value and good games are dropping into Game Pass this year is going to be asinine, bro. It's absolutely fucking asinine. Like, to the thought that we are actually getting all these fucking games into Game Pass this year. That's why I think it sucks for the standard consumer, the standard model. Like, it makes it worthless for me. All these day and date games, like $14.99 per month, and you don't get any of these day and date games coming. Like, no, fuck that. I want the ultimate. I want ultimate for $20. Give me all the fucking day and date games. PlayStation's charging like what, $17.99 for premium, and they don't even fucking have any like day and date games. Nobody even cares. Nobody even cares. Just pointing out the contradictions out there with the expectations that people have on Microsoft versus PlayStation. It's so crazy to think like the amount of value, honestly, like that we get in Game Pass Ultimate, and like the fact that PlayStation service is so shit that even the standard version of Game Pass is going to be better than the PlayStation Premium version. And that's saying something, right? Wilfrey says, serious question. What's PlayStation roadmap for the rest of the year and next year? Anyone? With Concord? Maybe Silent Hill and Death Stranding too. One of those is a first party game. I don't know, man, but I can tell you a lot of games coming day and date to the Xbox. Railway says the sad part, their first party games are removed from the service and repackaged as a remaster and sold back to consumers. Yes, dude. Yes. Actually pulling fucking games out, first party games out of the service before remasters come out. Anyway, yeah, it's just funny. Like people say, like the whole thought. Yeah, I was critical of Xbox in 2022. Pete, I was a subscriber to PS Plus Extra. Actually, my daughter and I subscribed to it for my daughter not too long ago, so she could play Life is Strange. Yeah, I know what's in the catalog. I checked it out when it came out too. Like I subscribed to it just to give it a go. I not anymore. I don't feel like it's worthwhile, and I canceled it after she played those games. But yeah, there's no day and date in there, and not even from first party. GT7 is still not in it. A first party Sony game that came out March of what, 2022 or April? I don't. This came out in 2022 sometime. Like really? Like we're gonna argue the fact that Extra has good shit? Game Pass dominates all over that, bro. Like all over it all day. Ryan McCaffrey says people are still doubting Sony after everything they've done. Like Ghost 2 won't hit, like Cory Barlog's game won't hit, like Astro won't be fun. What is happening? Oh, those games are going to be great. don't think anybody is doubting that. But I would say, where the fuck are the announcements of those games and when are they coming out? Like, yeah, we can make these games up in our minds and we can actually have conversations about them. But when are they happening? I don't know. We're talking about actual roadmaps. I think those games are going to be awesome when they come out in 2027, 2028, 2029. What are we playing there for the next few years? They ran through their pipeline of remasters and remakes and their big franchise games. They said themselves recently they're on a return phase of those games. They're no longer investing in newer things. They started all that with these games of service games. They canceled half of them, wasted a bunch of time, wasted a bunch of money. They have no announced roadmap for their big first-person catalog. The only one we know about right now is Wolverine. And there's even a lot of conversation about issues going on with the development of that. I know it's not Ryan Steele. It's just interesting, like, to think about the conversations that take place involving PlayStation and the passes that they get, the free passes that they get for the same shit that Xbox got killed for a generation for. And now we have a whole slew of gamers out there just have changed their expectations and moved the goalposts, just saying less is more. And all that kind of stuff for PlayStation, while dogging value and games going into Game Pass day and date. A lot of people, like I said before, were saying, "Oh, this is Xbox being kind of done with Game Pass or being done with that." And they're being, I think they've settled into what Game Pass is going to be. They have gone into a less aggressive approach with it, and they're going to let the library do the talking as more than the value. Dollar value is what I mean. But I think they should have waited. I think they should have waited. Especially for the standard tier change to remove the day and date. And maybe that's why they didn't wait. Because could you imagine that many people potentially signing up for standard Game Pass and getting Call of Duty and then taking it away from them? In hindsight, that would have been probably a bold move at that point. Like, get all these Call of Duty fans coming in. Oh yeah, hey, welcome aboard, guys. You know, you just pay for your standard Game Pass subscription. You get Call of Duty. Oh wait, I forget that one sucked so much that it didn't come online, so you also had to get Game Pass Core. There was nobody to do that. Everybody's just gonna get Ultimate anyway. Fuck. It's even hard to remember that this whole Game Pass console thing didn't even come with online. Oh, geez. What were they thinking with that one? What were they, remember the last price increase? We all had this conversation and like, we're like, with no online for the Game Pass console? Like it just didn't make sense. This makes more sense. I just don't like the fact that they removed day and date. OCD Gamer's probably the most popular game on It is the most popular game on PlayStation. Actually, if you look, Matt Piscatella had all of his May numbers come out recently, and yeah, Call of Duty is still the most popular game on PlayStation. 3-bit. How long do you guys think it'll take for you to get the games? Then a day, a week? Not a day. You mean for standard Game Pass? That we've been speculating on that in the DMs a little bit. I think they're going to kind of do the EA thing, and they're going to kind of have it on a case-by-case basis, kind of depending on the kind of game it is, and like the reception and how big it is, right? If a game is like crazy popular single-player game that's selling really well, they might wait longer. If a game is a fledgling multiplayer online game, I would say they might go as soon as 3 months, but most likely 6. It for yearly releases, maybe they do like a 10-month thing, right? Like if it's like a Call of Duty, maybe they wait 10 months. That way they give it like people 2 months of the old Call of Duty. When you see like they go ridiculously cheap on sale because these yearly releases always have a new game coming out. Like I think a Call of Duty could be like 9-10 months, and then they put it in there, and then the new one come out, right? But I don't know. Hopefully they do it sooner than later. It'd be nice if they kind of had a standard of expectation, you know. But I don't know if we're gonna get that because I don't know if they've made up their mind yet. Yeah, and I do like I see conversations still going on about the in the chat about PlayStation and their subscriptions. I think that if PlayStation had better subscription services, it would have put more pressure on Xbox, but they don't. So, Kyle says they should just do 3 months for the COD. In my opinion, the games usually die down after the holidays. Fair point. Yeah, it's tough to say what they do. I mean, they're gonna have. I mean, they still are growing Game Pass, right? The whole thought process that they're not going to be trying to grow Game Pass is completely wrong. Because the library is going to do the talking, and the value is still there for Ultimate, but I think that the access point is getting to the point where there's so much more eyes on it that maybe that's one of the reasons they did it now instead of later. Let's get to the chat. Latek says, or are you having a conversation with Poisoned? Okay. Chris Coleman says, PS will have secured more exclusives for PS and Xbox will have by the end of 2024. Xbox still doesn't have release dates, so delays could happen. Xbox failed with that 12 months of games last time. Yeah, we got release dates for some of the bigger games this year, and the ones we don't have release dates for are later in the year. I'm not really concerned about that. And they have so many games coming this year, like I don't think there's any concern over delivering. And you think PlayStation will have secured more exclusives for PlayStation than Xbox will have by the end of 2024? Wouldn't they have announced a lot of those at their show that they just had? Their state of play? I mean, they didn't. Maybe they have another show later where they announce some stuff, but this second half for PlayStation's looking really, really shallow. And by default, they get Black Myth Wukong. Unless that was an underhanded deal. But other than that, yeah, like Xbox is dominating the second half by far. And they have also already had exclusives on Xbox this year, too. But yeah, even if you look at the top 10 games on PlayStation played for May, like 3 of them are Xbox franchises. Sea of Thieves, Minecraft, actually maybe, yeah. So Sea of Thieves, Minecraft, Fallout 4, and Call of Duty, that 4. Yeah, they have like 4 in the top 10, 4 Microsoft franchises. You want to tell me who's like actually killing it? I ain't buying a PS5. I'm saving for a PC personally. I get more powerful PC around $650 to $700 range. Yeah. Once they put GT7 on PC, unless they announce something else for PlayStation, I will feel less need to have one. Right now, it's like my Gran Turismo box, and I like Forza. Also, I play quite a bit of Forza off and on, but like there hasn't been anything launched this year that's like I gotta have a PlayStation for, and I have not seeing anything announced coming soon that I have to have a PlayStation for. So we'll see what happens with PlayStation. But I think it would be nice if they put their games day and date on PC also, because it'd be, as a consumer, it'd be what I want, right? Um, yeah, Jay, I agree. Otherwise, they'd have been announced, right? I don't know where those numbers are coming from, unless you're counting like random like small games that just skip Xbox for whatever as exclusives. Um, I think a lot of people don't really think about a lot of those games when they're doing that count. You know, there's just random games, like smaller games. We do tidbits every week, you know, on FSP on Mondays. And usually there's like a game or two that's just like, hey, we just skipped the Xbox for whatever fucking reason, right? Sometimes there's games that skip PlayStation for whatever reason, right? I don't think anybody ever counts those games from Xbox and PlayStation as like exclusives, because they're just random smaller games that happen to do that a lot of times, you know. But like the big games, like marketing deals or you know, exclusivity deals, those kind of things, like Xbox is gonna have more. PlayStation had an exclusive every month for the first 6 months, and we have Silent Hill 2 and Lego Horizon and Astrobot. Lego Horizon isn't an exclusive. Xbox has had Power World and Hellblade 2. Okay. Yeah, and then Xbox has Age of Mythology Retold. Xbox has Towerborn. Xbox has Indiana Jones. Xbox has Avowed. Xbox has, let's see, Microsoft Flight Sim. All this second half. Stalker 2, as well. So anyway, that's just off the top of my head. But yeah, by the end of the year, and if you go back previously as well, like you could probably find a couple other ones. Yeah, plus also you got to count the Game Pass day and date games, because that's pretty insane that you get those games day and date. That in it itself is. Light says none of those are exclusive. Every single one of those I said are exclusive. What are you talking about? What do you mean by exclusive? Not on PC? Like it has to be only on console? That's not a fucking thing. Like everybody knows what we're talking about when we talk about exclusives. We talk about not on PlayStation or not on Xbox. Like don't try and like change the rules here to fit a narrative. If that's the case, then you could say, well, some of those other PlayStation games aren't exclusives either. That they one per month. Like we're talking about the games that either have marketing deals or that are on one platform over the other, right? Probably going to PlayStation also. They could eventually. None of them are announced for it right now. So some of them could. Yeah, sure. And some of those games that came out for PlayStation the first 6 months could also end up on Xbox. But right now, we don't know any of that. Because guess what? A lot of the PlayStation games that hit the first 6 months of this year are not PlayStation games. They're not even owned by PlayStation. They're just they're just like exclusivity deals. Like, there's no like rule changing and stuff like here. Like the exclusives are exclusives for the time being until they're not. So we'll count them as exclusives until we find out otherwise that they're not exclusives. Ultimately, like I want a day where exclusives don't exist, period. But if you're counting them, you got to count them equally, and you can't just like change the rules for one platform over the other. It doesn't make any damn sense. 3-bit says Avowed, Indiana Jones, Towerborn, Stalker 2 replaced Ark is replaced, going to be on PlayStation. I'm not sure. I know it's in Game Pass day one. Ark 2, 33 Immortals, Hellblade 2, Microsoft Flight Sim this year with Fable, South of Midnight next year. That's not you missed a lot there too, 3-bit. Those are Game Pass day and date games that you're listing. So I don't know if 33 Immortals is exclusive. Ark 2, I'm not sure if it's exclusive. Replaced, I'm not sure. I know there's a Game Pass day and date though. Yeah, Flintlock's Game Pass day and date. Yeah, so sometimes when we get Game Pass day and date games, like it feels like they're exclusives because everybody is thinking of playing them on Xbox, right? It's the power of that marketing deal with Xbox and Game Pass day and date. It's like, hey, this is Game Pass day and date. You can fucking play them on Game Pass. Antonio says those are all exclusive. 33 Immortals is exclusive. Okay, cool. Replaced is exclusive. Noise. Yeah, I didn't know that those are exclusive. Arc 2. Yeah, I don't know. I know those are third party games, so I didn't know that they're exclusive. Chris Coleman says The Last of Us 2 remake, Helldivers 2, Grand Blue Fantasy, Pacific. Okay, you're gonna Pacific Drive, bro. I mean, do people want to go and start finding the smaller random games that go on Game Pass or are on Xbox that aren't on PlayStation? If you want to do that, you can just we can make a list of like 20 games for each platform. If you're gonna add stuff like Pacific Drive, Grand Blue Fantasy, I'll say fair on that, right? They skipped Xbox. Yeah, that's a great game. That was the first 6 months. But the second 6 months, what do you got? I listed a bunch of the ones for the second 6 months for Xbox. I don't even hyper. Oh, there you go, Poison Hypercharge. Has a random one for you. Like that's what I'm saying. You don't count games like that because like so many of them just like they can only afford to develop for whatever their lead platform is. So like it's just kind of by default. It's not like a thing, you know. It's not something that people count. The people don't count those games like, oh, they're exclusive. This is exclusives. Like we're talking about. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I couldn't even tell you what the fuck Pacific Drive is. I don't. Is that the one with the station wagon, where it's like a time travel thing or something, or like there's aliens and you're like a fucking like it looks like National Lampoon's like vacation, but with aliens or weird shit happening. I'm sure it's a great game. I've just okay, cool. I remember seeing it a couple times at different showcases. I always kind of thought of it as just a random like indie game or whatever. Like you could say Baby Steps. If Baby Steps launches this year, are you praising that as a big time exclusive? Or are you gonna purposefully not claim it? Like it's just saying, you just got to keep the rules in order. If you're gonna count games like Pacific Drive, you got to count tons of other smaller games, for both platforms. Um, let's see here. I will give you Grand Blue though. That's a good size double A JRPG that was awesome. Don't knock Baby Steps OCD. I'm trying not to, bro. Gamer Live says most of the games his naming are on PC as well. There's no more exclusives. The console mindset is over. Hey, I agree with that. I think the console mindset it needs to evolve from gamers in general. I know we all feel special as console enthusiasts and console gamers, right? But like I think not putting games on PC day and date is just stupid. Like for me, like the companies are losing out on money. Gamers that are only on PC and not ever going to care about playing a console are just losing out on getting to buy and play those games. And it doesn't really benefit the console gamer in any kind of way. But yet it gets people to tout these lists of like, oh yeah, it's only on this, it's only on this. It makes me feel special when it wouldn't change your experience if it was somewhere else too. You know, like it doesn't. It's your personal experience isn't changing by somebody else getting to play the game. Exclusivity isn't like something I'm like really have emotion if something isn't exclusive. I I think business wise, it's like, hey, cool, yeah, look at their lineup, right? But I just get excited for the games. For me, Game Pass is more of the mover. Like Game Pass for me is like the thing I get excited about when the games are announced for Game Pass, because as a consumer that affects me more because I get value there, right? For me, I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I get to not have to buy the game day and date. I can play it when it comes out without any extra cost to me. And then the other thing I get excited about is found out if it is coming to platforms. Like, oh, this game's on PC and Xbox. I get excited when I find out a game has cross buy and cross play and cross progression. I don't get excited that it doesn't. Right? Like, oh, like for me, like if I can play on my account on on whatever device I have and access everything, that's a win, you know. And it matters to me to more about the games that the companies are making, not necessarily if it's like where you can play it or not. I just want to be able to play it on my devices. The less devices it's on is worse for me because it's less access. Like but people like to champion these things like trophies, you know. When you talk about pipeline and actual games being created by these companies, you look at the roadmap, Xbox is absolutely fucking killing it in the second half of this year, and you won't be able to convince me otherwise to try and make some kind of list of random games to say that PlayStation has more. You can bend rules and twist things as much as possible to try and accumulate amounts of games or whatever. When everyone's special, no one is. I if it changed my experience or my experience was watered down, I would get that sentiment. Right? I like we had the sentiment with the situational disability thing and that conversation around that. Like, don't change the overall concept of a game. Make features to allow other people to access the awesome experience. Right? There's two ways of thinking. Okay, like, do we say that everybody should get like okay, let's say because people have peanut allergies, let's just fucking get rid of peanuts. Hey, let's just make it extinct. You know what I mean? Like, nothing can have peanuts or peanut oil anymore or whatever. Or what you could look at the same thing for seafood or like, let's just get rid of it because some people have this or that. No, like, let's have awesome stuff. Like, if there's a way to get somebody to like be able to experience the games in the best way possible by helping that and assisting that with features, do it. I'll love that. But don't make the game worse for everybody for the sake of that, right? Then you look at this with when it comes to when it comes to the whole console and exclusivity narrative, it doesn't translate because you're not changing any kind of experience by allowing somebody else access to it. The only thing is it affects your personal feeling of your justification of purchasing the hardware, right? Like, I feel like I need to buy this hardware because this thing is only here. So that makes that hardware feel more special. Now, if you go play the game there, you go play the game somewhere else, maybe it's the same exact experience. You wouldn't know otherwise because you're playing it there, right? But you're not, the experience isn't changed if somebody else gets to also play it. It's just they're also playing it somewhere. The inherent experience is the same. You playing the game and your enjoyment and everything should be the same, regardless if somebody else on another device is playing it. The difference is your perceived value of the item that you purchased. I would argue that that item has no more or less value, or no more or less value. What matters most is what's actually on the box. Like, if the games are there, that's what matters the most, not where they are, where they're not. Right? Like, we should care about the content that's there for us, and that's the value that we should be looking at. Like, hey, this box was $500 and it has access to these games. And I like these features that this box has. I like the ecosystem this box has. I like the services that they provide. These are the reasons why I invest and I purchase this box. Not because somebody else can't play the game on their box. That makes this box better. That's the old school model. I'd rather the features and the value speak for itself, and the merits of the hardware be what we purchase them for, and the access that we have to the games in the library. Not an arbitrarily artificial gate-kept mentality over keeping other people from things is what makes it special. No, make it awesome in and of itself and a reason for us to want to play on it. Like, that's it's artificial value. It's artificial value when the value that you perceive to be there is based on the fact that you're taking stuff away from other people. The value for me is what I get to experience there, not what other people don't. Right? Like, that's why, like, exclusivity, that's why I've never, like, care too much if somebody else gets to play something, because my experience isn't fucking changed. I don't care. Like, does my box any worse today than it was yesterday when somebody else got to play a game? Oh. Jax82 with a $5 super chat says Xbox Game Pass price increase is nothing new. It was coming. We've been here before. As long as they add value instead of going up just to go up, I'm good. Well, that yeah, I hear you. In this revision, they did take stuff away from one of the tiers. So they removed value from standard tier. They changed it. Well, they added value and they took value away. So they took away day and date, and they're adding online. So I don't know. It depends on what you care about most about, I guess. But yeah, I'm not a fan of removing day and date, period, from the standard tier. I think it makes more sense for the structure, but from a business perspective of like differentiation, but not a fan of it. And then Game Pass Ultimate didn't add any value. It just went up $3. However, if you are considering all the acquisitions and all the features that they've been adding and all the improvements to the cloud and all these other things as added value, then yeah, they added value to it, and you're paying $3 more per month. Overall, $20 a month, fair price to ask for me for all of the shit you're getting. So, you know, I again, like I said before, I think I'm a little surprised I did it now instead of later, or they're doing it in September or whatever. But it would be nice if they had waited. Yeah, the console only players are grandfathered in. Yeah, if you, but then who is a Game Pass console subscriber that recently, since the last change, had gotten Game Pass console subscriptions? Because you also had to pay for Game Pass Core to play online. So that's one of the reason I thought that never made sense. That's why I'm saying this one, it makes a little bit more sense because Game Pass Standard comes with online, and it's more clear of a differentiator where the day and date is a thing on one and not the other. But I would rather have the day and date games, and I'd rather have online included. Um, and then Game Pass Ultimate still has all the extra stuff that they've been giving. They're the only ones getting anything taken away. Yeah. Well, grandfathered in as far as your monthly subscription goes, right? I think that once that runs out, you're probably on the new standard tier. Atreyu says it would be an easier pill to swallow if the price increase also had a family plan announcement as well. That's something I said earlier. Like, where the fuck is the family plan? I think Game Pass Core should be cheaper. Game Pass Core should either not exist or be cheaper. You just ordered 3 month on CD keys, not taking a chance. Yeah, right on, boss. Uh, do they still give you? Do you still give you an extra month if you get the 12-month gold card? I have no idea. Honestly, I haven't been one to be bundling or getting cards and all that stuff for a long time. For a couple years now, at least, it's just been charging monthly. I know as a consumer, I should be doing better for myself, but I had never really paid attention to the card sales or bundling them up or anything like that. If they never let their console tier lapse, they can keep getting games day and date as a console Game Pass subscriber forever, basically. Okay, so they're like just gonna be grandfathered in forever. That's interesting. Um, Boss says I don't think the family plan is gonna happen. It's a mistake if they don't do it at some point. And it's because of the multiple access points that they're going for this Xbox Everywhere initiative, right? If you want an entire family of gamers to be playing on Game Pass, you got to have a fucking family plan. Like, you just got to have a family plan. If you have a family of five, if you want to approach that and be an option for a family of five, with kids playing on their tablets, with people playing on a Fire Stick, with people playing on their Xboxes, with people playing on their PCs, taking stuff on the road, people playing on their handheld gaming devices, having Xbox all these different places is what their vision is, right? Whether it be a console, PC, cloud, whatever your access. If that's the vision that they have, they're going after everybody as a consumer. And you're not going to get a family of five to subscribe to five fucking Game Pass Ultimate subscriptions, right? And the whole my home Xbox thing, yeah, it's cool, but when you talk about all these different access points across all these different devices and all these different things, it doesn't really work for that. Like, you gotta think about having a family plan. Like, Xbox has got to figure that out. Um, if they really want to be the place where everybody plays, if they really want everybody to be able to access it and all that kind of stuff, they got to account for everybody and they got to account for families. The more value they give for families, the better they're going to be. Because you don't want to sell a family one subscription for one person that can only use it for themselves where they play. Um, They might have dropped the Antonio Newman says they might have dropped the family plan for now, like how they did Keystone. Price might not work. Well, they might have waited because they knew with ABK and everything they're adding and all this other stuff that they're doing, they may be waiting to figure out how they're going to structure it. Like, that's what I'm thinking is like there's got to be an idea behind the structure. Like, I think the whole concept of my home Xbox is going to change. I think the my home Xbox thing is eventually going to change, and I think that's inherently part of the reason we haven't got a family plan or a lot of these other things yet. Because if they are going with a handheld and they're going with all these different access points across all these different devices and stuff, the my home Xbox thing is just antiquated and it's not going to work for that. Like, you don't want to have a handheld gaming system and another Xbox at home and have to have your one of them as your home Xbox. You want to be able to play your handheld offline, right? So in order to play your handheld offline, you'd have to have it as your home Xbox. But then you don't want to not take it. You don't not want to have your home Xbox as your home Xbox. So I think they're going to potentially change the way that works. Pete says, so Microsoft got ABK, raised prices, gave games to PlayStation, and put only one game, Diablo 4, on Game Pass. So far, yeah, that's what they've done. And I'm completely cool with it. Because all the rest of the games are coming to Game Pass from ABK. It's happening. They have a shit ton of games dropping into Xbox that are exclusive still, if that's what you care about. And way more value than anything PlayStation's offering this year. All in a subscription service, day and date. Including ABK, which they just got, and they raised my price of Game Pass Ultimate by $3 to account for all of it. Yeah, I'm not really complaining too much, bro. It says Prince Screen, you got until 2028 plus 9 to 10. Nice, dude. Yeah, we're about to see ABK games hitting Game Pass more sooner. And this is probably part of the reason why they announced the price increase now. Void Rat says wasted 90 was that euros on that Diablo 4 crap, then it comes to Game Pass. I feel violated. Fuck, man, I love Diablo 4. You don't like Diablo 4, man? But yeah, it came to Game Pass already. I'll complain because I'm a cheap ass. Hey, that's fine, dude. Like I think the standard tier is the one that's like, that doesn't make any damn sense. I think business wise, they messed up here. They should have waited. I think a huge fucking rake or any huge thing. This isn't that. This is kind of something that we expected, just didn't know when it was going to happen. But I didn't expect them taking day and date games away from standard Game Pass members, from console Game Pass members. But like Calorie says, I guess you're grandfathered in. It's pounds. Thanks, Void. I guess you're grandfathered in, so just don't cancel, I guess. I want to see. They haven't made their official. Have they made their official announcement of it yet? So far, what I've seen was just the like the article from Jez and people and Tom Warren and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Jez. Yeah, I don't think Xbox has made their official announcement yet, but they have confirmed to Jez that it's happening. So I'll just read Jez's article a little bit. It says, 3 things in life are certain: death, taxes, and price increases. Today, Microsoft confirmed to us that details on the long-expected Xbox Game Pass price increase as well and truly here, but it comes with some major changes to the basic Xbox console tier as well. Xbox Game Pass is Microsoft's Netflix-like all-you-can-eat gaming subscription service and one of its more noteworthy recent gaming innovations. For a monthly fee, players can get access to hundreds of games as well as day one titles from Microsoft Studios. That includes games like Starfield from Bethesda, Halo from 343 Industries, but also future games like the next Call of Duty set to launch in the fall. Microsoft rebranded Xbox Live Gold, the paywall for premium multiplayer titles, to Xbox Game Pass Core a short while ago, and has done some small price increases over the years. Now we're getting another name change of sorts, as well as major change to the basic Xbox Game Pass tier, as well as a range of price increases. Soon, Xbox Game Pass for console will be shuttered for new users only. Users currently on Xbox Game Pass for console. How many are on Xbox Game Pass for console? I wonder. Anyway, I'm just curious because that tier never made sense to me when they had changed it. But users currently on Xbox Game Pass for console will be allowed to maintain their subscription as well as day one games and the hundreds of titles in the back catalog. New users on Xbox Game Pass in the near future will be greeted by a new Xbox Game Pass Standard. This is more like EA Access, which includes Xbox's back catalog and doesn't include day one games. This will be priced at $14.99 per month and will also include Xbox Live Gold for multiplayer, now known as Xbox Game Pass Core, confusingly. It doesn't include Xbox Cloud Gaming. Game Pass Standard is supposedly launching in September. From September 12th, 2024, Microsoft will only allow users to stack Xbox Game Pass for console users for up to 13 months. Using prepaid cards and the like, which will continue to function. If you have more than 13 months stacked already, you won't be impacted. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will not be changed, but it will get a price increase. It will still include PC Game Pass, Day 1 Game Pass, and hundreds of back catalog titles, as well as cloud gaming, but it is getting a price increase. The new price will be $19.99 per month. PC Game Pass is also getting a price increase from $9.99 per month to $11.99. PC Game Pass will also continue to get day one games. Xbox Game Pass Core gets an annual price increase to $74.99 from $59.99, but it will remain $9.99 per month. The price increases are global. You can view the prices for your region here. I'll put a link in the art for the article in the description. For users with recurring billing, the new prices will take effect on September 12th, 2024, giving you time to cancel if you don't fancy it. Okay, and I guess Microsoft does now have a support page dedicated to the changes. Okay. Well, that's pretty much the gist of his article. It's not really the way I would announce something like that. Just having something kind of get leaked and then confirm it and then do a support page for it or whatever, but it is what it is. I don't know who made the first report. So sorry if I don't give proper credit. But I am going to make sure to source Jez's article here in the description. Anyway, how you feeling, guys? Like, I mean, if you're an Ultimate subscriber, I'm curious. I'm going to put in the poll in the chat. Do you subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate? Game Pass Console, Game Pass Core, or none? Yeah, I'm going to put this poll. Yeah, this not letting you stack past the 13, that kind of sucks too. But can you consistently stack up to 13, or do they just stop it? Like, can you consistently keep 13 months stacked? Yeah, personally, I don't know anybody that has like the Game Pass console. Like everybody has Ultimate. Because Game Pass console, in order to play online, you would also have to subscribe to Game Pass Core. Which, who was doing that? Acute Perspective says Sony increased the price for 12 months of PlayStation Plus Essential from $59.99 to $79.99. PlayStation Plus Extra from $99.99 to $134.99. Yeah, those are the bundle prices too. The monthly prices are actually more. PlayStation Plus Premium from $119.99 to $159.99 in September 2023. Yeah, plus they have no day and date. I mean, occasionally they'll have a third party like indie game that'll go day and date, but overall they just don't do day and date. Yeah, and don't be surprised if there aren't more price increases coming for PlayStation Plus's shitty service also. So somebody voted Game Pass console. This anybody is that real? Please raise your hand. Because I want to have a discussion with you. If you voted Game Pass console, please tell me who you are. Because I just want to actually ask you a couple questions. And I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm not trying to sing. Like, I just actually have some genuine questions for you. So please, somebody, if you have Game Pass console version, if you voted, I know you're here. Don't hide now. This Game Pass Core makes sense. Game Pass Core makes sense, Scratch. So, like, because you need it for online. I'm asking about Game Pass console. Somebody voted Game Pass console. Game Pass Core makes complete sense because you need it for online. It's a requirement to play games online. I'm waiting. Please, so whoever in the chat voted Game Pass console, please. I'm not gonna make fun of you. I promise. I promise I won't make fun of you. I just need to have. I need to ask you some questions. I just really want to ask you some questions, please. I know you're there. You voted. I boss must have got that year was just scared they would see. Yeah. Someone fat fingered it. I bet. Raise your hands. A trap. No, I will not make fun of you. I'm not going to give you shit. I promise. I know you were interacting with the poll. You were interacting with it, so I know you're here. I just have a few questions to understand. That's all. Do not be scared. I promise. I promise. I will. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you off. I'm not going to do anything. I just have legitimate questions. It's just legitimate questions. That's all. There's more than one person now that has voted for Game Pass console. Have a good night, Brandon. There's more than one person because the percentage went up. I'm actually surprised that Game Pass Core is so little. I will not unleash hell. I'm not going to unleash hell on you. There'll be no Mav rants focused at the Game Pass console users, subscribers. It's just funny that people actually voted for it and won't actually say who they are. It's because you had to interact with the poll, so you're interacting with the chat, right? So I know that they're there. I know that you're here, but you're like not purposefully saying, which is hilarious to me. The 12% that say none, those are the ponies that are voting. Or like the people that like just don't barely play on Xbox. Twitter's blowing up. Bright side is Dirk Griggity will have so many candidates for POS of the week. Yeah. Like there's some guys that have been kind of little bit overboard. Like I don't, it's not a win, you know. It's not like a win. It's not like something to celebrate. Fuck yeah, they went up. It's not like a, I think it's expectation. I'm more critical of like the removal of the day and date games on Game Pass standard for new users. I think it's not smart, but it is what it is. It's what it's their like happy medium for ABK, I think, going forward. And it's where they're settling on where they want to be with the value proposition in the future, I think. With the ultimate being the focused tier, and then the rest just kind of like, well, here's this option if you want it. Right? Okay, whoever it is not going to come forward. Pussy. Whoever it is not going to come forward. It's fine. And Pete says, chat is hardcore gamers only. I'll just end the poll. I'll move on. Fuck, I really wanted to ask the questions. This is like a little sad. Game Pass combined with PlayStation Plus is called greed, and we don't care about you, just money. I mean, they're companies, right? They're big businesses, big corporations looking to make profit. Yeah, greed's the name of the game when it comes to all these businesses, right? But I would still argue that Game Pass has way more value in it than PlayStation Plus. It's funny when I hit in poll, it dropped from 4% to 3%. Yeah, more than one person voted. I'm telling you, two. It was two people voted Game Pass console. Well, either they're trolling. What were the questions? My first question was, I was just going to ask, do you play online? Do you play online games? Right? Second question, if they said yes, I was going to say, so do you have to subscribe to Game Pass Core then? Right? And if they said yes, then I would have said, well, like, why are you doing that as opposed to having been subscribed to Game Pass Ultimate? And I just wanted to know the actual reasoning. And if that was the case and they gave me a reason, I'd be like, okay, cool, fair enough, for whatever reason. But yeah, they won't come forward, man. And if they just said that yes, they pay for Game Pass console and Game Pass Core, I would have said it makes more sense to subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate at that point. But it's fine. And now there's more clear options with more clear price differential, right? Beforehand, it just didn't make any damn sense. Unless you were somebody who just didn't want to play online but you still wanted a Game Pass library. But like, okay, maybe for like little kids and stuff. Nicholas Knight says it's not over for Xbox Game Pass. Is going to be third time price going up, and then all of us will move on to Steam PC playing for free. Uh, Game Pass is not just about the online stuff. I don't know what you mean. Move to Steam PC playing for free. It's more about getting games in a subscription service. So, especially with Ultimate, like day and date games, like Call of Duty, you're not going to be playing for free on Steam, right? You're not going to be playing Avowed for free on Steam. You're not going to be playing Indiana Jones for free on Steam. I don't understand that, right? You can say playing online for free, but that has nothing to do with really Game Pass Ultimate. That has more of just Game Pass Core. And yeah, if you're a PC player and you primarily play on PC, then your option at that point would be PC Game Pass. Right. So if you're on PC, then why are you on a console paying for? If you prefer to play on PC, why are you paying for Xbox Live or Game Pass Core on console? Why would you play online on PlayStation Plus? If you're on PC and that's your primary place to play, then just play on PC if that's what you prefer, and play for free. I agree. I think multiplayer gaming should be free on consoles in general. But like, you can't just label Game Pass as only like the online. Like, it's way more than that. And so is PlayStation Plus. It's like you're talking about libraries of games. If you're say Game Pass Core or PS Plus Essentials, and that's your only talking point here, then yeah, that makes sense. But I wouldn't, if I was a PC primary player, I wouldn't pay for those services either. I'd just be playing on PC. But if I'm looking for value, I'll also get PC Game Pass, which it doesn't have anything to do with online gaming. It's just the library that you get, which is awesome. And you could also look at, if you're on console, Game Pass Ultimate, which includes all those other things, plus EA Play, and plus the cloud gaming and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't really get the whole thing. I think, when they changed the name Xbox Live Gold to Game Pass, I think it creates a lot of confusion. Because PS Plus kept the same name, but they added tiers to it for the subscription gaming. But like Xbox changed Xbox Live Gold to Game Pass. Now a lot of people are just equating Game Pass to like online gaming, I guess. ROG Ally X is powerful, same as other PC on market. Okay. Beebajar says PC Game Pass is the best deal. PC Game Pass is a great fucking deal. They went up $2 on that as well. But yeah, PC Game Pass is great. But it's awesome. You know what? Game Pass Ultimate comes with PC Game Pass. So I play on PC and console, right? I don't just like, oh, I'm only a console gamer. I'm only a PC gamer. I play where I feel like playing at the time. The cool thing about the Xbox ecosystem with their first party games is I don't have to choose. And I get my same progress, my same library, all that kind of stuff just moves over with me no matter where I am. Dakota says this raise might have been due to Amazon's cut. PC raise might mean Game Pass in Steam or something. I think that's just more so probably because of all the acquisitions they made and where they're trying to settle on going forward with how they want their model to be. You never know. I mean, it's possible. Ray says Ultimate will have streaming existing games library when they announce it. Yeah, I'm hoping that Standard has that too, but actually the Standard doesn't even have cloud gaming. Fuck. Yeah, that's true, man. Yeah, Ultimate, that'll be where you do that. Do I play emulation games on Xbox? Well, technically, the 360 library is emulated using a 360 emulation through there. So, in that sense, when I play a 360 game, technically, yes. But other than that, no, I don't. OCD Gamer says, from now on, we better say Xbox had a terrible showcase so they don't raise it again. Yeah. I've been putting, man, I'm telling you, like, I put pressure on PlayStation to give better value for PlayStation Plus and stuff. Nobody ever seems to care. I'm like, fuck PlayStation Plus, like they're not doing anything for day and date, they're not doing any of this stuff. And if they had done so, if they did more, it would put more pressure on Xbox to have kept that as well for standard Game Pass. What if these console subs answered for a friend? What do you mean by that, Tony? Like, you hope they do cross promotion perks if you have Prime and Game Pass? Yeah, that'd be cool. Um, I don't know. Like, I think the Amazon thing is like more so. It's just about an access point. I don't know if there's going to be a whole lot of other deals there. It would be nice. It would be nice if there was some kind of like thing where they did deals for some of the games that Amazon's publishing to be in Game Pass or something like that. That's the kind of deals I'm thinking of more so. Like, what if Tomb Raider, like after a certain amount of months it was out, ended up coming to Game Pass whenever that game comes out, or like some of the other games that they're publishing. But they also have Luna, so I don't know if they would do that or not. But I think Luna is also getting access to ABK games via Ubisoft Plus as well. So maybe there's some give and take there. I don't know. PS gamers don't rely on PS Plus like Xbox gamers do with Game Pass. I think rely is a strong word. I think take advantage of would be really the word to use. Game Pass is something worth taking advantage of. PS Plus Extra and Premium are not as worthwhile. So they just kind of exist. And the gamers haven't asked for any better because they make excuses for PlayStation when they don't. If PlayStation did more for Extra and Premium and it gave better value and did more for the consumer, then there would be more consumers taking advantage of it and praising it. And there'd be a better comparison's sake. And then you could say, well, PlayStation players are relying on it because they see the value in the service and subscribe to it. I think that's a misconception with Xbox gamers. We lived in Xbox world for a long time before Game Pass existed, and are used to buying games. But seeing value in a subscription service and deciding to subscribe and the option that they're giving us isn't say we have to rely on it. It's just we're taking advantage of the value that they're offering and being a part of their service model that they want us to sign up for. Like they aren't doing that to lose money. They're doing it because that's what they see as a good value proposition and an option. They still sell games. They still have Game Pass for people to subscribe to it too. It's either you're paying monthly and playing the games in the catalog, or you're buying the games, one or the other. And they want both consumers, right? They're not saying that everything has to be one or the other, but on Xbox, the difference is that the Game Pass subscription is actually really enticing and valuable to make the Game Pass and the Xbox primary consumers, the hardcore gamers that play on Xbox, feel like they have to subscribe to it because it's too good of a value to pass up on. And this is like with the argument that people can go back and Xbox isn't delivering or Xbox isn't this. Man, we've been fucking eating good for a long time, really, on all consoles and all platforms. 2022 was weak from a first party standpoint on Xbox. Game Pass still delivered in spades that year. If you want to talk about subscription gaming and just the games to play on the platform, but like last year and this year, things are great. especially coming up in this next 6 months and then going into 2025. Like, there's not like a narrative that makes a lot of sense with that lately, you know. I think marketing wise, they have made mistakes in the past, but they've been a lot better with that. People tout, hardware sales and stuff like that. It's fine, but for me, I don't really look at a lot of that stuff as far as wins or losses. I look at things like me as a consumer. Where am I accessing? Where am I spending my money? The companies, how much are they making? Off the consumers. How many consumer users do they have? How many people are playing the games? And a lot of metrics, like Xbox is on top, right? So there's a bunch of different factors to all this other kind of stuff when you talk about where these platforms are and all that. But ultimately, I've been really happy, man. And I don't rely on Game Pass, but I take advantage of it. Fuck yeah, I do. Like, and I'm going to continue taking advantage of the value that they're offering to me in that model, because as a consumer, the kind of gamer that I am, the amount of different games that I play, the variety of genres that I play, it makes too much damn sense. Because if I am not subscribing to that, if I'm not getting all those games in Game Pass, I'm having to buy them. And there's a lot of those fucking games I'm not willing to wait on. Later, Void. Have a good one. But anyway, yeah, ultimately, that's where we're at. Price increase. We'll marinate on it. We'll think about it over the next couple days. We'll have PM in the PM here on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be interesting having a conversation with Pong about it, because we were on the two different sides before on what we thought was going to happen. And he was more accurate than I was, for sure, over the timing of when this is going down. So, but that's it, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for hanging out tonight. Impromptu Mavcast. You rock. And we'll be back, like I said, Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Pong, Soul, and I for PM in the PM. I see lots of awesome people that have been hanging out. I appreciate the conversations in the chat, every single one of you guys. And we'll be also here Friday night for Xbox Ultimate at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Mondays, we have Fun Speculation Podcast at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And who knows, if something else happens, we might get another Mavcast. Bye, everybody. Good night.